The clock struck midnight as Liam drove down the desolate highway. The road stretched endlessly before him, flanked by dense forests on either side. The radio crackled, unable to pick up a signal, leaving only the rhythmic thrum of the tires and the occasional rustling of leaves outside. He hated night drives, but this one was unavoidable. He had promised his sister he'd make it home for her birthday. As the road curved, his headlights caught a figure standing by the side of the road, their hand outstretched in a plea for a ride. It was a woman, drenched from the rain, with hair clinging to her pale face. Against his better judgment, Liam slowed down and rolled down the window. "Need a lift?" he asked. She didn't answer but nodded, her movements stiff and unnatural. She slid into the back seat without a word, her soaked clothes leaving a puddle on the upholstery. Liam glanced at her through the rearview mirror. She stared straight ahead, her face obscured by her hair. "Rough night, huh?" He tried to break the silence, but she didn't respond. As he continued driving, an uneasy feeling crept over him. The air inside the car felt heavy, and the temperature seemed to drop. He adjusted the rearview mirror again, but this time, the woman wasn't sitting still. She was leaning forward, her head tilted unnaturally, as though listening to something he couldn't hear. "Are you okay back there?" he asked, his voice cracking slightly. No answer. He turned around briefly, but she was sitting upright again, as still as a statue. When he faced the road again, his heart nearly stopped. A shadow darted across the headlights, too large to be an animal. He slammed on the brakes, his tires screeching. The car came to a halt, and Liam turned to check on his passenger, but the back seat was empty. The door hadn't opened, and there was no sign of her outside. Confused and rattled, he decided to keep driving, his pulse pounding in his ears. He couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. Minutes later, his phone buzzed with a text. He fumbled to check it, expecting a message from his sister. Instead, it was from an unknown number. "She's in the car." His blood ran cold. He looked up into the rearview mirror, and his heart stopped. The woman was back, her face inches from his, eyes hollow and mouth twisted into a grotesque smile. The car veered off the road as Liam screamed. The vehicle was found the next morning, crashed against a tree, but Liam was nowhere to be seen. The locals say that if you drive down that highway at midnight, you might pick up a silent passenger, and she never lets you go.